Quarantine hair don't care. Social isolation could kill you. That's not me talking. That's American Psychological Association talking. It's more dangerous to your health than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It's more dangerous than your health than being an alcoholic. It's twice as dangerous to your health as being obese. And they've been preaching to us about being obese for years, how it could kill us, how terrible it is for our health. And now they're wanting us to socially isolate. I know we have to because of this coronavirus thing, but we don't have to do it alone. You should socially isolate with some people you know, with some people you love. You shouldn't be by yourself. It's not good. I spent years working in a jail, county jail, regional jail, working with inmates. And one of the things you see a lot, people come in for their first time in jail and they think that they want to be by themselves. They want to be away from all the other inmates. They don't want to be bothered. They want the safety of being alone. And what they end up finding out is that it changes them and they hate it. It drives them nuts. It drives you crazy to be by yourself that long. And nobody thinks that's true. Nobody believes that to be true until they experience it. And then they find that firsthand that social isolation, being in the hole, or being in some kind of isolation from the other inmates for their safety.
Hi. We're not alone today, are we, Kitty? No, we're not.
They find out it's bad for them. They find out they can't stand it, and they want out. And in some cases, they can't get out. A lot of times it's for their safety. Their crime may be something that the other inmates would hurt them over, or they may have some kind of medical condition, tuberculosis, something like that, that they can't be around other inmates. Yeah. She don't care. But then, it also brings out bad feelings between the people who are isolated together. If you have a small group of people, 1, 2, 3 people, the fighting starts. And that's when you end up with a lot of in-house arguing, bickering, and sometimes physical altercations. Now, I'm talking about from my experience in jail, working in the jail. Not in the jail. I wasn't in jail. I was, anyway. You end up with a lot of that, and that's, we'd have to move them around quite often when you had them in small groups like that. We call that protective custody. And it was just a trick that you had to manage. In this type of isolation that we have with COVID-19, can't do that. You are with the people you're with, and if you're going to isolate you're going to isolate. It's also important to note to be careful who you choose to be isolated with. Make sure that they are very responsible people, because if they break isolation and go out and catch this virus and come back with you, you've wasted your time. You have wasted your time if you can't be with someone that you can really trust to stay away from large crowds of people and stay away from people who may be infected, and to use proper techniques in public, hand sanitizers, distancing, things like that, hand washing. Make sure that you've chosen somebody who's trustworthy to stick with your quarantine. It's going to be a mental health crisis. I really believe that we have a mental health crisis coming up for us, and I don't know what we're going to do about it. I really don't. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to give some tips for dealing with being isolated during this health crisis, during this coronavirus crisis. So I got online and I Googled how to deal with isolation, how to deal with loneliness. And what I found is none of it really fit this situation, because most of it is talking about identify why you're feeling lonely. Identify if this, what makes you feel that way. Well, we know why, because we're isolated. It tips on how to make friends and how to get out into public, and kindness and all these things that doesn't apply here. But the best things that I think we can do, if you have to be isolated by yourself and you don't have a choice, so you've got the virus and now you're by yourself, you need to be prepared for this. You need good internet access. You need to reach out to your friends and family on Facebook as much as you can. I'm making some videos too. I mean, I'm not isolated because I don't. At least I really hope not. 5 to 14 days till you know. But I don't want to get it My mother is elderly, and I have to go help her. Another way to deal with your isolation and being alone is religion. We noticed a lot of inmates, once they get isolated, once they become in kind of protective custody, they turn to religion and begin studying the Bible or whatever their religion may be. And it seemed to help a lot of people. So yeah, it's a great time to get closer to God. Online gaming. Now you're no longer looked down upon for sitting home all day long and playing Call of Duty. You know, you have groups of people, and people form real bonds and real friendships in these games. And it can really help through these times of loneliness for a lot of people, and to not feel so isolated. So now you can finally play video games all day in your underwear for your country and to save old people. You're a good citizen. You are a good citizen. I'm also going to say, make a schedule. Stick to it. Have a time that you get up, a time that you go to bed. Do not fall into this Sunday morning routine of doing whatever you want to do and just laying around all day long, because you will get depressed. Human nature. You have to have a schedule and a routine that you stick to. Binge watching a TV show is fine, you know, one or two. Don't get hooked in this whole, I want to watch everything on Netflix, I want to watch everything online. Don't get into that. Physical activity is key. Getting moving, staying with a routine, exercise, work on your body. Try to watch your diet. It's going to be difficult with our limited food choices that we're going to have, but don't get fat and lazy. Like I'm trying my best not to get. It's a great time to work on your house. It's a great time to get out here. The weather's not terrible where I'm at. I'm in southern West Virginia, and today's a pretty nice day. It's like 60 degrees out. Get out and work on your house. Get out and work on this landscaping that you got going on. And so when spring comes or summer comes, when all this gets a little cleared up, you can feel proud of what you've done. So maybe you guys can join me on the journey, and we can talk about together ways that we can overcome this and worry about the people who may not be in great mental health already, and now they're going to be isolated for maybe 18 months. Even if they can get out to go to the store here and there, we're supposed to keep the distance from everybody else, make their quick trips. There's no big social gatherings, and a lot of people, that's where they get their social interaction from, is bars, churches, large events, sporting events, and that's where they got all their social interaction from. Maybe a coach who's a loner, but then he got his social interaction from being at the ball game. Or, you know, there's all kinds of scenarios to think about people who are used to being very socially interactive, who now are not going to be able to because these large events aren't going to happen. I'm going to say it again, mental health crisis is on the way. Anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comments, and I guarantee there's going to be more videos coming because I'm bored. Hey, my name's Joe, and I'm a hillbilly. I'm a West Virginia hillbilly. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, if you haven't already clicked the little linky thing down there, click it, subscribe to me. I'm a retired police officer, you know, the 5-0. This is my first year of retirement. I've got a bunch of videos that I'm going to post from my time as a policeman. And I've got a bunch of tips if you want to be a policeman. If you decide you're interested in that kind of work, I've got a bunch of tips to get the job. If you're not, and if you're just dealing with the police, I'm going to have a bunch of tips on what to do if you're pulled over, what to do if you've got a speeding ticket, what to do if you've got a criminal charge. I want to do all that kind of stuff. So if you haven't subscribed... Oh man, what did you bring me? Oh, let's see, what did you bring me? Huh? Oh man, oh, you're a good girl. You brought me masses. Well, looks like maybe a grandma over there. Oh man, what'd you do? Yeah, buddy, you're a good girl, aren't you? Look at those things. Look at, oh, whoo! What a good kitty. What a good kitty. Yeah, good girl, huh? Wow. So what I wanted to do, let's start this over.